This is Sturtevant on the pronunciation of ow and a. The early history of the O vowels was nearly parallel to that of the E vowels. So ow is a modification of o, which was utilized to distinguish the open o from the closed o. Probably the distinction was first made in the e vowels and then applied to the o vowels. The spelling o must have originally denoted a diphthong. This sound persisted in some dialects in historic times, as is indicated by the Cyprian ar-ra-u-rai, ar-ra-u-rai, and by the Cretan a-po-dan. In the earliest Ionic inscriptions, o is used not only for o, but also for o, resulting from the lengthening of the o, or the contraction of o, or of o, e, while ow is used for the original o and oi for the original diphthong. For example, procognesio, procognesio, Proconnesus, 6th century, and Teuto, to, chrono, ton, octo, gaideka, hymnon. The open sound of o is proved by the contraction of a and o and a into o. In the course of the 5th century, oi came to be used for lengthened o as well as for the original diphthong. So this is the time period now that we're interested in. So bu leoi and baros, etc. As in the case of a and e, this indicates that o and o were at this point identical. The value, for a while at least, must have been very close to that of o. And in fact, when I'm reading, you'll find that my diphthong ow and o are not that far apart. Upon the introduction of the Ionic alphabet into Attic, ow was used as in Ionic for the original o, and also for the product of the contraction of a and o and a. So tim maunto and heid dio. In Attic inscriptions, as well as in Ionic, o originally denoted the diphthong o there, while lengthened o and the product of the contraction of o and e, and also of e and o, were written as o. So misdonta, misdonta. We find lengthened o written o as early as 500 BCE, Peracleos, and in the course of the next century this became the regular spelling. When the confusion began, we must suppose that both the original diphthong and lengthened o had a value very close to o, and this sound seems to have been the one in use until about 350 BC. So for those of you who've asked questions about my pronunciation, for example, it's ekau, there's a bit of a slidey, slippery area here, so don't get too hooked up about it. Until that date, o was frequently used for lengthened o, and occasionally for the original diphthong. So Attic inscriptions indicate some such history as is pictured in the accompanying figure. So we have and O becoming O and O, around about the same, and then after 350, O. And that's where we're going to stop this discussion, because after this point the vowels change away from the time period that we're interested in.